Good morning everyone, this is Daily Trading Analysis with the weekly recap for another week of tensions in which we raised to all-time highs. So pretty confusing week, and let me explain you why. In terms of analysis, we clearly have data supporting a little bit of negative, but also surprisingly non-farm payrolls were positive, unemployment rate were positive, and hourly earnings, all three are showing growth, a drop in unemployment with tighter labor market, and disinflationary signals from the earnings. But what is happening then? What is happening? It's basically trade tensions. The primary driver of this downturn was the administration's sharp escalation in tariff rhetoric against the key global trading partners. The central and most dominant theme of the week was the dramatic escalation of US trade tensions. The administration's pronouncement moved from targeted actions to broad sweeping threats to basically the most alarming development of the President Trump is to implement a new wide tariff on various countries, with rates potentially climbing from 10% to as high as 70%, set to begin on August 1st. This aggressive posture was not confined to a single front. Negotiations with the European Union, a critical economic partner, appear to break down completely. So Trump is aggressively threatening with higher trade tariffs to key partners, and there's no deals in the horizon. We had only Vietnam, we had a little bit of tensions and deterioration with agreements with Japan. In terms of the bloc, there's no progress, and there's announcements of plans to curb AI chip-related exports to Malaysia and Thailand. I mean, against this overwhelmingly negative backdrop, there were a few isolated de-escalations. As I said, Vietnam agreed to a 20 tariff in exchange for market access. We have a little bit of relief there, but the key major threat is not going away, and the markets are fear about that. We cross all-time highs, we are seeing volume, but there's a lot of uncertainty going into this 4th of July. So in the domestic front, the most significant positive development, as I said, was the final passage of Trump tax cut and spending bill by both the House and the Senate. Under normal circumstances, such a substantial piece of pro-growth fiscal legislation would be expected to provide a strong tailwind for equities. This bill is designed to stimulate the economy through lower corporate taxes and increase government spending, which should boost corporate earnings. However, the timing of its passage meant that its positive influence was almost entirely eclipsed by the much larger and more immediate fears of global trade wars again. So basically, the same as last week, we had good economic data, but we also had this administration, we had policies against key partners that are providing fear and uncertainty to the investors. Let's move into the charts to really see what is happening under the curtains. Because as you can see, down here we have the market internals. In terms of volume, it was pretty clear that there was inflows in this metric, in this market. The NQ is seeing a lot of inflows at the all-time highs. So there's people buying the breakout. We are seeing also continuing advanced decliners, and we are seeing this in both the ES and the Qs. Look at Thursday and Friday. Well, Friday not that much. That was Thursday and Friday, excuse me. So we had a lot of pressure here. And as you can see, we are hovering all-time highs. If we go to the 1 hour, we can see how we broke out pretty aggressively. But then yesterday, 4th of July, we slowly grind down. So what is happening? It's because people they don't want to hold into a long weekend. So they are not buying and selling a bit. But don't get me wrong, this is looking pretty good. Look at this. This is a 1 hour chart. This is since May. We've been grinding until all-time highs. Now, I've been waiting for a pullback since basically May. And I still have these areas, and I still think the same as I told you last week in my last weekly recap. Why? Because this is not sustainable with all the uncertainty that we have right now. And now that we reach the final target, which is all-time highs, what is going to happen? Well, we reach also 23,000, a key psychological number. So I'm not going to be bullish up here. If we continue, it is what it is. But I'm in this industry so long that I learned not to chase a movement. Because when you chase, you are destroyed by a regular pullback of this. There will be a pullback, 1,000 points, 1,500 points, 2,000 points, because there's always a pullback for you to join the trend. And I'm telling you there's a trend because on the RSP, we are seeing the percentage of stocks that are above the 200 daily moving average already reached 55. And we had momentum, we are hovering momentum, we have trend, hovering trend, and holding 68% of stocks are above the critical 50-day moving average. And there's a long-term 200-day moving average going again to values of last year at 62. So we are doing good in terms of technicals. There will be regular pullbacks that most probably will be bought up. So don't chase this move. Magnificent 7 are pretty good. Apple is just a big value stock which is crashing this week. Only this week, Apple increased 6%. So Apple is a good value right now. Microsoft is just destroying the market. Tesla, it's struggling as usual. Amazon, consumer discretionary, it's struggling a little bit because there's concern about the buying power of the consumers. Google is pushing another good value. Nvidia is destroying the markets, and Meta is pulling back from all-time highs. But overall, XLK, it's doing pretty good. Financials are crashing. Look at the banks, all in the green. Look at the sector, XLF. Consumer discretionary is struggling a little bit, but semiconductors are pushing. And remember, the next earnings season is around the corner. So it's pretty clear small caps are also pushing. There's a lot of value until all-time highs. So NQ is being pushed by technology, good values, earnings, and semiconductors. This is what is happening right now. But we still have concerns and background uncertainty about trade wars. So be careful with that. A good pullback will happen. We have room for just a pullback to the 200, a pullback to the 50, a pullback to key areas. Just be patient, because that's what matters when you want to take good positions. That's all from my side. As always, thank you for your time. If you found this video useful, please give it a like. Support the channel by subscribing. I upload videos like this one every Saturday in which we review everything from fundamentals to technicals, everything I have for you free. So if you are new, welcome. If you are a recurrent user, thank you for the support. Remember, discipline, patience, and risk management are key for your success. Happy Independence Day, happy long weekend, and see you on Monday.